Welcome to the Global Real Estate and Entrepreneurship Podcast. I'm really excited and pleased today to be here with my friend and my referral partner from South Carolina, where I understand it's quite sunny. This is Elizabeth McCarthy. She is a referral partner of mine from my global real estate company, EXP. She's a fellow Wolfpack member. And Elizabeth, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. My pleasure.
Elizabeth, can you tell us a little bit about your journey into real estate?
Yes, I definitely can. It's been very interesting. It actually started a long time ago when my husband and I owned a house. We tried to sell our house for 13 years and yeah, worked with, I don't know, four, five, six different agents coming in. Nothing would work. And so I always had these questions in my mind, like, what's going on? And why is this happening? And that was sort of that beginning piece for me. And from there, we ended up having to short sale our house and move into my parents. And that started us basically trying to find our way and our place to live. So we had moved back and forth to New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and just trying to figure it all out. And it really posed those real estate questions to me because we ended up renting. And just about 4 years ago, we decided, okay, we're done renting. We'll get back into this home ownership and figure this out because, we were hurt from our previous experience.
Sure.
But yeah, so I did have an agent that, again, was working for us for buying purposes. And I just felt anytime I had asked her, like, okay, this is what we're specifically looking for, she never listened to me. And we could not find that particular spot because gardening is very important to us. So the land that we were going to own and was important as well. So
Wow.
anyway, I ended up calling other agents and we were looking for land and I was calling other people and I was thinking to myself, why am I just not becoming a real estate professional? Because I was already doing the job. And that's basically how I ended up saying, okay, I'm going to get my license and try to find our
Wow.
house.
That's a lot to unpack because that's a lot of experience. So, where was the house that you were selling when you went on that 13-year journey with a number of realtors to try and sell that? What state was that in?
That was in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And it was not in Boston. It's central Massachusetts, but it was at a pretty decent location. For whatever reason, the house, it was a nice house, but it just was, it had its ins and outs of idiosyncrasies, right? Like, but
Yes.
the thing was, I think the how it was presented, how it was marketed, how it was, I think it just wasn't handled properly at all when I reflect back on it. And actually, the last woman that came in, she was the first person that came in and said, "Oh, listen, if you just change this," and she came in my house and painted some of the rooms, and staged it like home staging totally made a huge difference there, which was great. And at the time, I didn't even know what that was. I was like, what are you talking about? It was like
Right.
watching a TV show. But
And we
yeah.
know this, right? As an old school broker, I was trained by some school brokers, and we know that houses are sold on three things. That's price, presentation, which is your staging, and marketing.
Hmm.
And through the Wolf Pack, we're both very up to date in our social media and cutting edge marketing. And part of that is incorporating the staging. I mean, that's part of the three pieces that are going to sell a property. So we definitely know how important that is.
Yes, definitely.
Now, from New
Definitely.
York, then you went to, or sorry, from Mass, you went to New York and then Connecticut,
Hmm.
and then your travels took you to, and now you're in South Carolina, and this is where you planted your flag,
Yes,
you're making your home. And I know
yes.
from your videos, which I love, that you are an avid gardener and you have like quite a fair-sized piece of land there. Talk to us about South Carolina and where you live.
Yeah, well, we feel very grateful because, we were always looking for that spot that we could really call home. Obviously, we just felt like nomads for a while, but here in this area, it's everything. It touches on everything that we were kind of hoping for. So, yes, definitely the land where we could create that homestead and garden, but also the community. A lot of these small towns are just a great community, all supporting each other. There are so many small businesses that I mean, I just am so in love with small business. So they have these farmers markets every week, pretty much all throughout the year. It's not just the seasonal springtime, right? And that's why I like this area too. So you can do it all in the whole entire year, right? It encompasses that. So I really made a lot of connections there too, which was super important to me. So
Now,
yeah,
are
we're
you in a suburb then of Greenville?
yep. So I'm actually a little bit more north of Greenville. They actually call it up here, I think, once like a horse country because it's just rolling hills and lots of horse farms. And just a nice, peaceful. It's right next to the mountain, so my backyard, as you can see, the Blue Ridge Mountains basically in
Oh,
the background.
amazing.
So
And I know just a little bit about you. I know that you are the mom of two beautiful kids and teens, and you are a lover of dance and music. Talk to us a little bit about your passions and your beautiful kids.
yeah, well, I'm definitely grateful for them. They're amazing. So I started out in dance. That was what I majored in college. I really wanted to be a ballet dancer and I studied and trained. But it's very hard and very competitive. And I'm competitive, but I didn't really have that drive to when I was in New York City. I was like, I don't know. There's so many ballet dancers out there. But also I had such a hard training. The school that I went to, basically, they told me, you're never going to be a ballet dancer. And they told me, yeah,
Hard,
and
hard.
very hard. And but it woke me up though a little bit too because I kind of had to, and I was like 18 years old thinking about this, like, what do I really want, and is this the life that I'm going to be just competing and doing all these things and wearing taxing on my body, and I don't want that. I'm a very holistic, natural. I'm all about wellness. And even at that young age, I was like, my knees were hurting me. I was like, I got to do something else. But luckily, I was able to fall into, there was a teaching program at this particular school, and I never wanted to be a teacher. But to be honest, I really enjoyed it a lot. So I did that, and that's kind of where I actually I taught preschool as well for quite a while. I was a Montessori teacher, and that's where my two kids basically grew up in that environment, and then I started homeschooling them. That's where we are. I still teach dance once a week. It's not my main thing, but it's obviously something that I still love. And
Passion. How can you
yeah.
not? I love the ballet. And I did ballet when I was young for about 6 years. And it was before the time when, it was like major competitive dance that they have now in all the different
Mm-hmm.
genres. I was
Yeah.
just straight ballet.
Great ballet.
Some ladies who were strict. They used to have like a long pointer and they would like
Oh
whip
yeah.
our legs a little
I
bit.
know, it's brutal. That's what I'm saying. Like even at the ballet school, I was like, I don't know how much I can keep getting if I sit. Like, I don't know, even though I loved it, but it definitely developed into something else, right? I'm
Yeah.
able to share that love now with the kids that I teach. And yesterday I had dance class and I was jumping around and everything. It's just it's still fun for
Or
me.
the exercises we would do with first positions, second position, like plies, and that you would do the core dancing from when I was with them, because there was such a focus on the
Hmm.
core exercise.
Yes.
Doing those
Yeah.
right was huge.
It's very disciplined, which actually I think, I'm a very organized uh, and disciplined, consistent person. And I really hold that to my ballet training because you have to be. And it really, it's a good thing, and a lot of people, I think that's the biggest thing that I got going on is I'm always consistent in everything I do. So, especially if I say that I'm going to go do something, and I think, especially in real estate, right? This is my third year of real estate, but right, I've learned, wow, I'm so glad that I'm consistent because you have to stay consistent in this business.
Yeah. It's
You
a
really do.
marathon, it's not a sprint. And
Right,
you've got
right.
markets at play that change. So what I find is that you become good at different things in different markets. So
Hmm.
you become very good at being a listing agent, and then there's sometimes where it's much easier and you have an influx of buyers, and you become better at being a buyer agent, and you can become better at bidding wars. And there's a time where we've just come out of a really hard market and some harder markets where you're doing a lot of hand holding. And those conversations, like you said from your experience, when you're selling that house for 13 years, staying in touch with your client, letting them know, level setting them what's going on in the market. Um, it very much is a balancing act of riding these waves of the market and being what you need to be for your client in those
Yes.
markets.
Yeah, I agree. And even with my listing, I have a listing now that's up. I mean, I end up talking to my seller probably once a day. He does need some hand holding and whatever, but it really is my job to, like you said, the house has been on the market now for a little while. But the timing of it all here in South Carolina, we had the hurricane, and ever since that, I mean, it was quite devastating to this general area for a while. And most people, it took a good month to sort of, get back to a normalcy of just like having power back. But that's actually the time that my listing had gone up. So, yeah, you really are educating, even if they're already your client and you have a listing with them, you're educating them every day because I have to make them understand what's happening to the market now, and and how that affects his listing, right? So,
Absolutely. And then to show them competitively where they are within their community and their most recent comparables. And we can't expect them to be mind readers to know how we are, putting stories out on social media and videos and linking different things in the back end and sending it to our sphere of influence. We have to sort of
mhm.
let them know how we're soft marketing it as well as hard marketing it the whole time as well. So,
Right,
uh,
right.
and holding, I'm a ex-stockbroker, and I have a big finance background. But what I find interesting about real estate and my time in real estate is it's the most emotional financial transaction anybody is ever going to
Yeah,
have. And
yeah,
it doesn't
definitely.
matter how much experience you have with money,
Hmm.
very emotional, and you
It
need,
is.
like, you get all up in your feels about it, and all people do, men, women, you name it. And so you really need to it goes back to that disc profile. If someone's super analytical, you need to hit them with the numbers and
Hmm.
stay on top of that. And if someone is like super emotional, you need to help them stay level and balanced and keep perspective.
Right, right.
So
Definitely.
kind of like
Yeah,
being a mom, right?
definitely.
A mother of
Definitely.
teenagers.
I know it's an interesting time, but I do have to say this. I switched over to EXP. I was with another brokerage, and just last year I switched to EXP, but it kind of really changed so much for me. And actually just the whole idea of entrepreneur, right? And so both my kids are very talented in doing different things. And now from what I've learned just with joining EXP, I'm able to give them some more knowledge that I would have never even known, or had these systems in place or thought about, or the mindset, just mindset in general. And so both of my kids now are, they're thriving, and they want it, right? They're going to do really, really great in what they're setting out to do. So, um,
Fantastic.
but it's an interesting time. It certainly is. So,
It is.
um, you
It is
know,
challenging, right? There are toughest customers that we have to relate to and hold hands with. They're the hardest on us and the best to us as well. It's like the extremes, right? The best and the worst of all
yes,
of the
yep,
emotions.
yep,
But
definitely,
what I
definitely.
totally love that about EXP and the Wolfpack as well, the holistic view, because I've been involved in larger organizations and financial institutions, and they're cold and they don't treat you like a person and they don't take into account personal situations. And as a woman in particular, when you have aging parents or you're caring for people who are unwell or you have children or a mix of all of the above, which is truthfully what we all sort of go through in our lives.
Yes, for
um
sure.
the financial world and corporations, they really have not been holistic in the way they treat human beings, and
Hmm.
help
Yeah,
you manage
definitely.
it.
Yeah,
So,
definitely,
as an
definitely.
entrepreneur and with the Wolf Pack, absolutely the mindset, like when I rolled into this group, my father had died, and it was right
Mm,
after the pandemic. And I had sort of gone through a battle with the hospitals here, and even to get my mother in to see him and then to have him rehabbed. And because things were still really disjointed after the pandemic,
right, right.
and it was a big trauma for me. It was a big fight
Hmm.
to get him rehabbed, and then he died anyway. And that was the first really close death that I had to me, and that hit me like a bowling ball as a grown woman.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Have my dad pass. It was tough. So doing the mindset work with the Wolf Pack and with Connor, which is really cognitive behavioral therapy, which is
hmm.
what they give people who've gone through trauma, right? Like, the sales can be trauma. Like, I was able to get onto those calls and
Hmm.
sort of be nurtured back,
Hmm.
um,
Right,
good health, and be able to improve
right,
my
right.
business over time.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. I mean, so my husband, he's we take care of him. He's not completely disabled. We have to kind of help him just move around and get him dressed, things like that. And so it's very challenging, but having the mindset and everything in place every day, right? That's what keeps you, onward, right? And you and even just time blocking, right? I
Yes.
never knew about time blocking, I think, until I went to the Wolfpack, and then just having that, I can be very efficient and use my time the best. Otherwise, it doesn't work with my situation of trying to juggle all those things, right? So,
Becomes chaos. And
definitely.
then you feel overwhelmed,
Yes,
and then you feel bad.
yes.
And then that makes you less productive, right? Like, it's a negative spiral.
It
Um,
is definitely,
but
definitely, I agree.
absolutely, when you have people depending on you, and busy schedules, the time blocking is huge. Using your calendar
Hmm.
is huge, and I've been rebellious against it for a while, operating as an agent in chaos. But I'm slowly reeling it
Yeah.
in. 2025 is my breakthrough year. That way, I'm using my calendar. I'm doing a checklist. I'm
Hmm.
moving things forward that I don't get to, but I'm also feeling better about the activity. like tying
Mm,
myself to the activity versus the outcome.
right, right.
Um, and that helps my overall mindset as well, because I always feel good when I'm making progress and I'm pushing forward. And I know, and we all know, if you do the activities, the result will come.
Hmm.
So it's only a
Definitely.
matter of time, right?
That's right. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
So
It's
let's
a
talk
big deal.
a little bit about your market and your market outlook for 2025 in South Carolina.
All right. So, I love this market. That's another reason I love this upstate South Carolina region because even in Massachusetts, very tough market, very low inventory, and just a lot of different other challenges. But here, this market, no matter what, stays so consistent. I mean, we had that hurricane come through, and I got to tell you, there might have been one day or two where, the lawyer's office was even closed or something, but people were still closing. Like, and houses moving and things going. There's just so much growth happening here in a
Nice.
in a very positive way. So, um, it's just a really great market all the time. I haven't since I've been here. So I think though, honestly, the median, the median home price is about the same as it was last year. It's gone up a little bit, but honestly, it's stayed pretty consistent again. So I think overall this area is a very affordable place. We do have a lot of people relocating from all, like, California, Arizona, New York, you name it. I mean, most of the people are like a transplant that comes in here, to the community. But you really can get a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, single family home in Greenville in the city itself for 400,000, 420,000, which
Still very
it will give
affordable.
you, yeah, definitely. And I think stuff like the average days maybe on market might change a little bit longer as far as like right now. Yeah, it's still winter. I would say, yeah, your house it's more like 80 to 90 days on market versus maybe like 60. You know what I mean? So, but again, that's not a huge shift, but it will in the spring, I think sort of my prediction is it's going to be very hot, like very hot here. Not just in the weather, but like uh, I think we're going to have multiple offer situations already since January. We've had like so many more buyers out, and I know this because I've been holding open houses every weekend, and I went from maybe 6, 8 couples coming through. Now it's like double that, right?
Right.
It's just like kind of where did all these
Uh,
people
and we're
came from?
pre we're pre-spring market now. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I really think it's going to only continue from here, and then yeah, um, I think listings will go up and things like that. But here too, so we have Greenville, and then to the east of that is the other city, Spartanburg.
okay.
And that holds very, so the median price in Spartanburg is about like 270,000 for a three
Great
bedroom.
value buys.
So it's still just an amazing, and they are rebuilding that city too. So there's just a lot of incredible things happening, and good things that people are really excited about. Local businesses coming in, the community is really great for that.
Fantastic.
Um, so yeah.
And we've got a great pipeline of Torontonians and people from the greater Toronto area who love South Carolina. I mean, we know Myrtle Beach, and that's been a traditional spot that a lot of golfers and golf syndicates, men, women, you name it, go to on an annual basis to South Carolina, especially this time of year. And
Mm-hmm.
Greensville is about what? About 2 hours from Myrtle Beach? Is that what we
Mm-hmm.
said?
Yeah.
Right. So Greenville is really an amazing alternative for golfers and these golf syndicates to go to and buy in, as well as Spartanburg Can
Yeah.
you, because I mean, you're talking about the average median price being 275. And can you talk to me a little bit about the golfing and the golf options that you have for our Snowbird
Well,
golf?
yeah, I mean, there's there's a ton of different communities all over, and I mean, some of them are even specified for retirement golf communities. So you don't have to be. I'm saying there are specified for either. So people will flock to those particular communities, anything ranging in that 500,000 mark. So I think a lot of these communities could be a little bit more luxury based depending on what it is, but I think still very affordable for that community. Um, and they build right on the some of the communities build right on the golf course itself, so they're actually there.
Wow.
Others are, some condos that are right outside of Greenville. You might be able to get something in that 350,000 for a condo. Um, so it just depends, there's the golf place near me that's really big. It's the Cliffs Valley, and that's a really big deal. And a lot
That's
of
more of the
people,
luxury for the luxury golfers and the
yeah,
luxury golf
they'll come from wherever and go there for a good while. It's kind of cool, but I actually drive past it a lot.
Nice. Well, I hope to send you some GTA golfer and golf syndicates. I
Yeah, that
know
would be
that you
awesome.
are, an expert in that area, and that's that. We've got a steady pipeline of Canadians. I showed you. I turned my camera around and showed Elizabeth the snow that we've got on the ground. So there. You don't have to wonder why we're flocking out of Canada between January and April every year. It happens.
Yes,
Um,
yes, for
but
sure.
yeah, South Carolina is one of our favorites. So I'm so
Oh,
excited to set up this pipeline with you. I know you're a
absolutely.
relocation expert, and I know you work with property investors as well, and golf syndicates. That's your new specialty. I think we're
Yes,
going to be with that. Canadian
definitely.
golf syndicates.
Awesome. I love it. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I feel, I've had enough experience in relocation myself where I've done it, but I there are so many people still relocating here that now I've had experience helping these families come in. And it's really nice when you can help a family know about the area they're moving to when they haven't even seen it yet. It's really hard for families not, just moving somewhere and not, they need to kind of feel like they have an idea of where they're going to, right? Like what's around and what the area is like. So, very important to stay up to date too about the area that you're servicing, right?
Absolutely. So, Elizabeth, where should everyone reach out to you? Where's your preferred
So I have a YouTube channel that's called Loving Life in Greenville, South Carolina, and
place?
I am on Instagram and Facebook at emccarthy.realtor. And
And we'll make
that's
sure
it.
all the links are below in
Yeah,
all of our videos so you can connect directly with Elizabeth. But I'm also happy to warm connect you to my Wolfpack Global Real Estate Partner, Elizabeth McCarthy out of South Carolina. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing about your beautiful community. I really appreciate you.
thank you so much.